Well, hello again, everybody. After a several hour marathon, I have finally gotten the steel plate attached to the bottom of the Shaper ram. Let me move some of these things out so you can see it better. It was a lot of, there's 12 of these little 3/4 inch in length, 1/4 flathead screws that have to get countersunk, so that's a lot of drilling, tapping, countersinking, and fitting. And speaking of fitting, I wanted to go ahead and show, although I fully realize before anybody replies that it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it does show a little bit of a decent fit. If you pull this the rod out that we bored out the other day, it makes a nice pop sound. So let me do that so you can see it's a pretty good fit. That's just one of the fun things to do when you bore a nice fitting hole for something. So let me show you what I've been working on today. As I mentioned yesterday, I cleaned and carefully located and clamped the steel bed plate onto the ram, the composite ram, which is held together with epoxy if you're just joining us for the first time, and then several, I think a total of 7 screws that go up from the bottom layer into the second layer. And so it's very rigid now. And now I've finished today. This is a dozen 1/4 20 thread flathead screws that all get drilled, tapped, countersunk, and put in, and they're all sunk a good 10 or 15 thou below the surface of the faceplate. I haven't filed this off yet, but I will, just to make it smooth. There is a little burr around each of the edges where the countersinks were. So that's complete. Very nice solid finished ram. Very pleased about how it's coming out, and I'm kind of digging the squarish look. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. I'll tell you, my original plan was to round it, and I'll probably do this, at least round the edges here, around the back edge a little bit. I had ideas about machining it into a real groovy Art Deco pattern. I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that, but what we'll do next session, I'll drill and tap a center hole here. It calls for 3/8 16, so I'll go all the way down into the hole, and that'll be the bolt that holds the rod for the pivot head. That's what this is all about. And then I do want to go ahead and relieve, once I have that hole established, I'll remove some of this surface because you don't need quite all this material. I'll bring it down a little bit, maybe 1/4 inch, and then do some countersunk socket head set screws or others, that just to make sure the top part is steady in the same one piece feel as the rest of it, because this ultimately supports a protractor head and the rotating head, the clapper and the vertical adjustment and all that stuff. It all basically gets bolted to and supported by the front of the ram. So that's the ram so far. Thanks again for watching. I'll keep y'all posted.